Is a very, very rare occurrence there because they have stronger gun laws. But apparently, John Fetterman, who is not seen very well amongst the left, despite him being a Democrat, apparently he had some words to say about that we're going to get into. But first, I want to say, if you haven't already, please consider subscribing to the channel. My name's Suris. If you haven't seen a video like this before from me, I tend to try to cover politics in a somewhat fair and even-handed way, even if I am very, very obviously on the left of the political spectrum. That said, maybe subscribe, let a couple friends know what I'm doing over here, and let me know if you did the comment section below. That said, let's go ahead and see what's going on with this news story. So John Fetterman slammed the idea of a two-state solution that would create a Palestinian state right next to Israel on Sunday, saying that it would be an absolute betrayal that would lead to more Jews being slaughtered by radical Muslims. How? Do you just think that they don't deserve to have a place to fucking live? That's like saying we need to bully the homeless people or they'll attack us instead of giving them a fucking house. Did Fetterman eat the brainworm? Somebody's gonna draw art of that now of just like RFK Jr. going, "Go on, Johnny, give it the dome." And the fucking brainworm coming out of his ear and Fetterman giving it fellatio. I don't know. Terrible, terrible mind thing for all of you. You won't get that idea out of your head now. Some weird artist is going to draw it, and I am ashamed of being the origin of that particular bit of terror. Fetterman shared his thoughts on Sunday morning futures with Maria Batterimo? I don't know how to pronounce her name. I am sorry. On Fox News, hours after 11 people were killed at a Hanukkah celebration in Australia, and dozens of others were injured. So because of a thing happening in Australia, you think that people don't deserve a fucking country to live in? That's weird. That's weird. Host Maria asked Fetterman if he agreed with Senator Lindsey Graham, who earlier on the program said officially recognizing a Palestinian state would only honor Hamas and put Jews in jeopardy. And he said, absolutely, it's an absolute betrayal for Israel and for the worldwide Jewish community. Whether it's France or Australia or any of these nations, our Western allies now calling for a two-state solution when Hamas refuses to disarm are actively trying to kill Jews. I can't imagine why anyone would do that at this point. That's not the appropriate reward after October 7th. Man, do we just not remember like the last 60 years of conflict between Israel and Palestine? Do we just not remember any of that? Do we literally just exist in a world where October 7th happened and then everything else happened? It's like living in post 9/11 United States, where like everything gets seen through the filter of after 9/11 everything changed. Fetterman a moment later said anti-Semitism is a worldwide scourge. I can agree with that. And it's constantly demonstrated to be deadly. Again, I can agree with that. It's not anti-Semitic to be critical of Israel, though. Like, you can be critical of the nation that is actively involving itself in a genocide without saying that the Jews are bad. That's a thing you can do. That's a thing you can do. Man, can we just get Rick and Morty in here? Remember the episode of Rick and Morty where, like, they went rogue and submitted a peace agreement between Palestine and Israel that was literally titled the really freaking obvious if you just thought about it for a little bit plan? Can we just get them to solve this problem at this point? Because it shouldn't be okay for Israel to do a genocide. Obviously, the slaughter in Australia is not okay either. I'm not saying that. But when you're being critical of Israel right now, you're being critical of them engaging in genocide. That's what you're doing. Graham, during his appearance on Fox News on Sunday, also lambasted Western countries, including France, the UK, and Canada for formally recognizing Palestine. To every Western government who's recognized a Palestinian state, you're rewarding killing Jews. Okay, but by not recognizing them, you're rewarding killing Palestinians. So, I mean, if the shoe fits on one foot, it fits on the other foot, unless you got a weird bit of elephantitis. To every Western government who's done that, they are rewarding killing Jews. It's the most irresponsible decision I can imagine. What state are you recognizing? Is it controlled by Hamas? What are you recognizing here? When you kill Jews, you get a state. You're not gonna get more killing of Jews, so I would urge the West to get tougher on radical Islam. Hamas in its 1918 charter called for killing Jews. Yep, that is true. That's true. I believe that it's okay to say that the individual Jewish citizens in Israel should not be held responsible for the actions of Netanyahu and the IDF. Likewise, I believe it should be uncontroversial to say that the Palestinian civilians in Palestine should not be held responsible for the actions of Hamas. Sarah Tigarita said the Israeli meme has been, since even before there was an Israel, that there was no such thing as Palestine or Palestinians. Axo says Christian Zionists want Jewish people in Israel so they can use Jews as a sacrifice for their end times. They don't care about Jews, they care about their end times. Yeah, I don't think that the average Republican politician sees it that way, but I do think that many of the Republican think tanks do. I do know that the think tanks behind shit like the Seven Mountains Mandate 100% see it that way. And that's crazy. It's post-apocalyptic fetishization more than anything. Sarah Tigrita says, Sakura says, I would hold the Israeli civilians that protested for the right to rape Palestinians responsible for advocating for crimes against humanity. Yeah, but that's not what I said. And you know that. The average Israeli citizen did not do that. Just like the average American citizen doesn't support Donald Trump. Yes, if somebody is directly advocating for the stripping away of somebody's human rights, then they should be treated as somebody who would strip the human rights away from another individual. Obviously. Easy. But that's not what I was talking about, and you know that. Sarah Tigarita says Palestine is no more Hamas than I am New Apostolic Reformation. Man, at some point I'm going to have to do a video on the Seven Mountains Mandate, but like every other atheist content creator has done something about it, at least in, like, especially Owen has already done justice to it. Maybe it's a thing for me to cover. I don't know. Little Firecat says, I hate that this is becoming an Israel-Palestine thing. It was an anti-Semitic attack against Australians in Australia. Yeah, that's the thing. I thought this was going to be about the attack. I thought this was going to be about the massacre, but instead it's all about Israel-Palestine. That's what it's all turned into. Which, like, don't get me wrong, that's a conversation we need to keep having. Because genocides are bad, and Palestinians should have a state. There's also something to be said about an easier solution would be the abolition of states, but that's a conversation for a different day for potentially a different political ideology. Sarah Tigarita said, I need to put something together on a bunch of words, but holy fuck, there's a lot of shit to dig through. Okay, so Seven Mountains Mandate and other cultish shit. That's all for this story, though. I guess Fetterman just doesn't agree that because of the actions of people outside of Palestine, the citizens in Palestine don't deserve food, hospitals, shelter, a government. That's a take. That's definitely a take, my guy. Hey, you made it to the end. I want to give an extra thanks to the patrons who allow me to do this full time. I want to thank Aaron Rail, Astral, Britzkrieg, Jemshin, Poundini, Red Joker, Victoria, Jonas, Craig, Tarika, Fireshard, Smiling GM, John, Dren Hadamada, Creeper, Sagitta, you know I'm not saying that last part, Valis of Sereth, Ottoman Angel, Rooster Rachel, and Fire Panda, who are all my $20 and up patrons.